Over the last 10 months at Rocky, we've seen lots of transformation within the walls of our Niwot and Frederick campuses. We've seen new faces and heard story after story of God changing lives as we continue to move forward together as one church. We're united under one vision and 4 priorities that bring us closer together and send us into the world around us. We want to know God and to love like Him. It's a simple concept, but incredibly meaningful as we remember what has happened over the last 10 months. The beginning of 2014 marked a huge leap towards uniting our campuses through technology that allows us to live broadcast our services once a month. This allows us to experience the same message at the same time, no matter which campus we call home. Updates and renovation to our Niwot campus have created a welcoming environment and provide an easier space for our guests to navigate. In April, we welcome Matt Cody onto our staff to provide leadership at our Frederick campus. Through the regular teaching of Sean and Matt, we see our campuses gaining influence in our communities and reaching our neighbors with the gospel.
Throughout Rocky's 30-year history, we've celebrated over 2,500 baptisms, and over 115 of those have happened since this Easter alone. That may sound like a bunch of numbers, but it's incredibly meaningful to me and my family, because I was one of them. And right after I was baptized, I was blessed to be able to turn around and baptize our 2 boys. That's a moment in my life I'll never forget.
Rocky cares about families and wants to provide the best ways for us to grow. We have around 700 kids from infants to high school students that come every week. This year alone, more than 300 students attended life-changing camps. And our Kids Hope program has provided mentors for kids in 4 different elementary schools.
Not only do we value our time together each Sunday, but we're also mindful of our friends and families that live where we live. Last fall, the Rocky family responded to those most affected by the flood in a huge way. We helped restore 400 homes and gave $125,000 directly to victims to help get them back on their feet. Sometimes we're called to do big things like that, but being a good neighbor begins with the small things. This summer, Rocky hosted 50 different barbecues with 600 neighbors attending. And from that, 20 neighborhood small groups have launched this fall. We feel that God has given us opportunities to make a difference in the world around us, even just beyond our neighborhoods. Rocky has given $250,000 to help build a new cottage for at-risk children at Mountain States Children's Home. Our volunteers have given hundreds of hours to help build this home from the ground up.
We feel that God has called us to reach beyond our borders and to help those in need around the world. By the end of this year, we will have expanded our influence in the slums of Madoya, Kenya, by giving $100,000 to start a new school. Can you imagine the difference that is going to make for hundreds of families? And through our partnership with Compassion International, we have started 2 new churches in Ecuador. In both of these countries, the people of Rocky have the privilege of sponsoring 250 children. That's 250 children that have a greater chance of knowing Jesus and developing skills that will provide for their families in the future.
Looking back at the past year, you can be overwhelmed when you consider all of these numbers. But at the end of the day, we're passionate about the numbers because numbers represent people, and people matter to God. We want to care about what God cares about. So every dollar, every hour, every person, every one counts.